if you are into reading tarot decks or oracle cards, the chances are you probably enjoy getting out into nature and connecting with plants, animals, to help you connect with something deeper, a little bit more spiritual. If that's the case, then I have the perfect oracle deck for you today. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm Sally. Welcome back to my channel, Vaudeville Manor, House of Art and Tarot, where I review tarot decks, oracle decks, other tarot related content, plus sharing my journey of designing my very first tarot deck. But today I'm here to talk to you about this delightful tarot deck, Tree Wisdom Cards by Lisa McLoughlin Art. I will start with a flip through and then I'll talk about the deck after that. So let's have a look. This is an indie deck produced by Lisa McLoughlin, and it can only be purchased, well, legitimate copies can only be purchased directly through her Etsy shop, Lisa McLoughlin Art, which I will link down below. At the time of filming this video, this deck is still available, but it is until stocks last. She's retiring this deck because she's bringing out newer decks, and I think this deck has been out for about 10 years now. But let's have a look at the box. This version of the deck comes in a rigid box. You have one of the cards on the front with this lovely wraparound design, which is also on the back of the cards. Presumably it is to represent the rings that you get on a tree, which I particularly like. On the back here you have a brief description about the idea behind this deck, so trees being these ancient beings that could be a really nice ally for us, and they could give us guidance with the knowledge that they have. This is a 55 deck. I really like this paragraph here. They are invitations from our wise friends to empower our own ability to thrive and to flourish. Ask the cards a question in a way that feels resonant for you. You don't receive a booklet. Instead, you get the meanings on the back of the card here, and each card has the name of the tree, the Latin, and the energy that is connected with that tree, and a little write-up about the situation that this tree is talking about, plus a question for you to consider. Now, as there isn't a book, you do get this one card which has been printed on both sides, which repeats the information on the back of the book, just plus some information about how you can connect with Lisa online, including the details of all her social channels, and a little bit about how Lisa thinks you should use the cards, which is very open. So she suggests that you may wish to use them in any way that makes sense to you, so it's not a sort of prescripted deck. She hasn't offered any spreads that you could use with this. She has suggested that some people like to flow write, reflect on the card they've selected, and she has said that you might like to use a 3-card spread with this. Also recommended that you could ask which tree wishes to step forward to support you right now and explore how the essence of the card applies in your life. And there are many more suggestions within the online world, so presumably if you were to go to her Instagram, maybe there's additional suggestions there. In terms of cardstock, now when I bought this, in the description for this particular item, it did say that Lisa had opted for a certain type of card to keep the deck as environmentally friendly as possible, which I think just means that it didn't have the additional plastic coating that some cards have, and therefore made it unsuitable for riffle shuffling. So that does mean that the cards maybe are a little bit thinner than, say, some of the commercial decks. But to be honest, if Lisa's made a decision to make these more eco-friendly, then I am perfectly fine with that. Now, I should say, because the cards are slightly thinner than, say, a Hay House or a Rock Pool deck, when I came to shuffle these, I think it's just because they're a little bit lighter, they're quite jumpy. As you can see, that when you pull them up to shuffle, loads of them come up, and so you really need to you know, have a good grip on them, unless that is if you're unless of course you are a person who likes to read with jumpers, so cards that jump out of the deck, and use them in your readings. I do and I don't. I think maybe it's the Virgo in me. I quite like to be a little bit more controlled with my shuffling, but that's just something that I noticed. What has inspired this deck? Now, this is the thing that fascinated me the most about this deck, because not only do you have your tree, but Lisa has also incorporated different colours from the 7 chakras. If you are not familiar with the chakras are the different energy centres that correspond with different parts of the body. They are typically connected to different colours, particularly the colours on the spectrum. So if you think about the rainbows, the orders that they go in, although these tend to be reverse. This diagram has a few additional chakras, but typically most people are familiar with the 7 chakras, which is the root chakra, which connects to your feelings of security. So if you think about putting your roots down, then we have the sacral chakra, which is for creativity and sort of your passions in life. Solar plexus is for energy and wisdom. The heart chakra, which is connected with love and relationships. The throat chakra, which is all to do with communication and how you communicate with people and sort of express yourself verbally. The third eye chakra, connecting to intuition. And then you have the crown chakra, which is connecting to your more spiritual self. So Lisa has used these ideas and connected them to the trees and the energy of each tree. If you're interested in that diagram, it has come from the Ultimate Guide to Tarot. Not only has Lisa combined different trees with the chakras and different energies involved around the trees and the chakras, she has applied artistic expression to complete the tree. So where she's been looking at images of trees, where she's seen or imagined a face, she's included that in the drawing. And I should just say, these trees have the most beautiful, calm, friendly, reassuring faces, probably as one would expect a tree to have, you know, being these ancient beings that have sort of watched humanity do their thing over time. I'm just going to show you a couple of my favourites. So this one here just makes me smile with these lovely little rosy cheeks and his or her little nose sticking out for the resilience card for our cedar tree. Or we have horse chestnut here looking rather kind of wise and thoughtful. And then this one to liberate, which is the walnut tree, with a very almost shocked face, but I'm guessing if this card is feeling liberated, it's sort of, you know, having a power moment. But the faces are just beautiful. Going back to the chakras then, just 3 different examples where I think she's been particularly clever. So where we'd expect to find the orangey red colours on the human body for the human chakra system, she's applied them correspondingly, if that's a word, to the tree. So obviously our kind of root and sacral chakra colours of reds and oranges. If you think this card is about new beginnings, you can't make a new beginning if your solid foundations, or if you don't feel grounded or solid. So that's just a reminder that if it's time for you to have a new beginning, then you need to make sure that you're in a safe place. So you're in a safe place, so emotionally, financially, whatever thing that needs to keep you rooted. And then going up, obviously we've got the yellow colour from solar plexus, and again, if you're going to make a new beginning, you need to have energy, you need to have wisdom in terms of knowing where you want to take your new beginning, or at least having some kind of goal to aim for. And then we've got pinky colours for the heart chakra. Again, if you're coming from a place of love, you're going to be more successful with your new beginning. So I have found these references to the chakras really useful, and she's been really consistent with this, but applied it in different ways. So showing how actually chakras can manifest in a positive or maybe more negative way, because here we've got the colours that connect to the lower part of the body where those chakras reside, so the oranges and the reds and the yellows. But if they're out of balance, if you're not feeling rooted with your base or root chakra, that's going to tip the balance and you're more likely to feel worried because you feel unstable. Interestingly, she's put blue up here, which is particularly connected to communication, and it may be that you don't know how to communicate, or you're not communicating enough, or maybe you're communicating too much, which could be causing this feeling of worry. And that's what I get from these cards without actually reading the back of them. So out of interest, let's see what it says. Yes. So, excessive negative thoughts need balancing in a more positive way. This often requires patience, as it can be hard to feel the good things in life when you feel despairing. So that's the situation, and as I said, these meanings come in two parts: the situation and then the solution, if you like. So, question: what mood lifting approaches can you introduce? Who can support you in this? Is it possible and pleasurable to be on life's journey despite the challenges? And so I really, really love how visual and how intuitive these cards are, because I feel that out of all the decks I have, this one is probably the most visually intuitive. You get a lot of information from the expression of the tree's face, the colours, and obviously your keyword there. And so I think if you're looking for a deck that's going to give you really quick readings, this is really perfect. You know, daily readings, you're going to get, and because it's dealing with energies, it's challenging you to consider those subtle things in your life that maybe you're not quite addressing or you're not aware of. So I think that's wonderful. Okay, so final thoughts about this deck. I really love this deck, and something I didn't mention when we're talking about the design or the visuals of this deck is I just love the illustration. I love the linear quality, so Lisa's use of lines to create the trees, and I love the fact that she has very loosely added just washes of colour to give a hint at where the leaves or where the canopy might be. I personally wish that I could be brave enough to work in that style, but there's this part of me that just ends up being a bit more controlled. Who knows? When I finish this deck that I'm working on, maybe I will challenge myself to work in a looser style. I can do it, it's just I'm not brave enough to show it just yet, but watch this space. Yeah, I just love the way that they've been created. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it is a very intuitive deck, and for that reason I really love this deck as well. And I didn't really talk much about the fact that there isn't a book. It's so simple and so easy to use. Sometimes when you're doing a reading and maybe you're working with a deck for the first time, or you're new to tarot and you're still learning and you're not quite sure about meaning and you're relying on looking up the meanings in the book, with this deck you don't need to do that because it's there already on the back of the card. Now, I did wonder if it would cause challenges when picking a card, so it's probably not ideal for taking the card off the top of the deck, because obviously you can already see what the card is, so there's no surprises. But when it comes to doing a fan, it's perfectly fine because you don't actually see the meanings. But not only do I love the artwork in this deck, I love the simplicity of just how it's been organised, so the meanings on the back, and love just the idea and the combinations of the trees, the chakras, the energies, and it, for me, it works as a really lovely holistic deck, and a deck that's going to be really quick and easy to work with. If what I've said today has interested you in this deck, then definitely head on over to Lisa's Etsy shop and nab it before you can't get it anymore, and hopefully you will love this deck as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching my video today and checking out my review of the indie deck Tree Wisdom Card by Lisa McLoughlin. Now, if you already have this deck, what has your experience been using these cards? I would love to know. Please drop some comments down below this video. If you've enjoyed this video today, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for future tarot and oracle related contents. And until the next video, I will see you very soon. Bye bye.